basically, it's a more primitive diet. So the belief for that one is that processed foods are kind of the cause for a lot of the aches and diseases and things.
Chips, soda, cheese.
Literally, pretty much anything that you can think of is probably a processed food.
Gosh.
Yeah, so it's honestly, it's a little bit more on the restrictive side. But basically, it's like lean meats, fish, nuts, and seeds. But that's pretty much it. So dairy is processed. And I missed a key point of the paleo. It's basically you are allowed to eat, or you are encouraged to eat anything that we as humans could have hunted and gathered.
Old school.
Back in the primitive, in like the cave people days.
Okay.
So that's kind of the idea, is that.
So you can still eat chicken. You can catch.
Yes,
you can
yes.
catch a chicken.
It's supposed to be lean meats, but yeah. So it's based off of like back in the day when we hunted and gathered. That's what we should be eating. So anything.
Are all meats good then? Because I mean, I can hunt a cow theoretically. I can hunt a pig, so they can eat all those things.
As far as I know, I don't think there's any restrictions on what type of meat. It's just supposed to be lean meat. But definitely do your own research, and there might be some discrepancies depending on who you ask. But that's kind of the idea behind paleo. So yeah, any dairy products, those constitute as processed, as well as grains. So that's a big one.
No, like rice.
No rice.
Not even brown rice.
Nope.
Not even quinoa.
Nope.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's kind of an interesting diet.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
Yeah, that is a hard one. But and think about how much processed food you eat.
Right.
And that is something that I do, and I listen to a lot of health podcasts myself, and that's a pretty common theme that I hear, is that limiting the amount of processed foods that you eat. Because with technology, we don't always ask the questions, should we be doing what we're doing? We just ask, can we be doing what we're doing?
Can this be profitable?
Right. Can this be profitable? Can this make us money? We're in a capitalistic, world and country here.
I feel like I was listening to either it was a YouTube video or I was reading a book on Dick Gregory, and he was saying the more processed something is, the further it is from its initial creation.
Boom, exactly.
And as a human, you're obviously hopefully close to your initial creation as far as your atomic levels. So you want to be eating foods that are as close to your atomic levels as possible. And the more it's processed, the further it is getting away from its original form. So, okay, paleo.
As close to the source as possible.
Right.
That's what you want to get. That's kind of the idea of paleo.
Okay, I wouldn't do it, but I wouldn't do it, but I can see the benefits of paleo for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna take another switch over to another diet.
Okay. Let's talk about keto.
Keto. I have someone at my job who went keto. He got a lot of success in keto, actually.
Keto's really popular right now, and keto is basically a super high-fat, low-carb diet.
Which sounds counterintuitive.
It does. It does sound counterintuitive. But basically, the idea behind keto is that you are training your body to use fat for fuel. So your metabolism will really adapt to whatever you feed it. So if you are, and that's kind of the problem, and why a lot of diseases and things arise based off of what we're eating, because your metabolism is going to adjust. It may not adjust in a way that's beneficial for your body though. So the idea and for keto is that you are switching. Normally our body uses carbs mostly, and for
why is that?
I couldn't tell you.
So my assumption is carbs are simple sugars, so they're easier to break down than fats are. Yeah, it takes less energy to consume for our body's carbs than it does for our body to break down proteins, which like carbs is like the basic structure. So if you go from protein to fat to carbs, that's a lot of energy for your body. So if you have potato chips, if you have french fries, if you have bread, your body's like, all right, cool, carbs, I'm gonna burn that. I'm gonna leave all this fat in your body.
And store it. Yeah, and that's what it does. It stores the fat. So yeah, you want to train your body to use that fat for fuel rather than the carbs.
Yeah, because if you use the fat, you're burning the fat.
Exactly.
So it won't be there.
Exactly.
Ah, okay.
And, yeah. So you're feeding your body hella fat, good fats, and I'll go into more of that later.
There are good fats.
There are good fats and there are bad fats. Absolutely.
Okay. All right, we learning today.
Yeah. So you're feeding your body good fats so that it can use it for fuel. And then, like I said, your metabolism will adjust to that and use fat for fuel. I don't want to say moving forward. That's another thing with this. I feel like you have to keep that diet up in order for it to keep.
Right, for your body or metabolism to actually get used to it and be like, oh, I get high fats now, let me stop using these carbs and start using all these fats.
Exactly. But if, let's say, you lose your weight and you try to go switch and go to another type of diet, or you go back to a standard diet, your body's going to adjust to that as well. And so that's just one thing to keep in mind, is that whatever practices you're doing, you're going to have to keep some of those a little bit, in order to really keep that weight off. Otherwise, you start eating carbs, your body's going to go back to, using those carbs for fuel again.
Gotcha. Can you give an example? I know this is a freestyle off the top of your head. Can you give an example of a keto meal? Like if you were to go keto tomorrow and therefore force me to go keto tomorrow, what would we eat? I just want to know. Just off the top of your head, what would we consume?
So I would need to look up the carb contents of the chia seeds, but I think chia pudding would be a very good option.
Okay, for breakfast.
For breakfast, yes, because it's just got the chia seeds, which are high in protein, and it's got we make ours with the coconut milk, which is a healthy fat.
Yes, with a little bit of cinnamon for a little bit of flavor. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you see, and with the keto, I'm not sure how much. With the condiments, you might start getting,
no more sugar.
Yeah, you might start getting crazy, and you might start messing with the diet there. But that might be a good thing you've been eating for breakfast.
Okay, that's breakfast. Cool. What am I eating for lunch?
For lunch, that's a tough one. Probably for us, because we don't eat meat, you could probably do like a thing of salmon and some vegetables. Vegetables are carbs.
Okay.
So I couldn't.
So maybe like some avocado for you. Okay, what else is high fats? See, it's like keto's interesting. So make sure whatever diet you choose, don't just like pick a diet and be like, all right, cool, tomorrow I'm gonna be keto, and then now it's like, oh wait, what do I eat?
Yeah, you have to research.
Yeah,
it's not a on the whim thing you should do. You need to do a lot of research on, like you said, not only what you're eating, but what should you be doing to supplement what you're eating. Right. If you're going to eat a high protein diet, you need to be working out. You need to be moving your body, because protein unused turns to fat.
Which is a perfect transition to our next diet. Okay? So keto was fun, but now let's talk about being a carnivore. I didn't even know this was a whole entire diet.
Yeah, me either, until probably a month ago.
Yeah, what's your diet? I'm a carnivore.
Yeah, I heard this on the Model Health Show podcast with Sean Stevenson. He had somebody on that was talking about the carnivore diet. And I'd always been wondering, I feel like I had been hearing about all these diets that are mainly plant-based and talking about eating lots of vegetables. And I wondered, is there anybody that doesn't think that that's a good idea? There has to be someone out there that thinks that meat is the answer. And there is. They created the carnivore diet. And that basically is a no-carb diet. So not even low-carb, no-carb. No carb. The carnivore diet actually believes that plants and vegetables are not good for you. And again, we're trying to be
subjective.
Yes, as subjective as possible.
Objective as possible. You know what I'm saying? But that's interesting. So I feel like keto and carnivore are kind of similar in the fact that if you're a carnivore, you're going to be eating probably high fats, high proteins. So I feel like that's kind of similar. But can you keep talking about carnivore a little bit? Teach me.
With the carnivore, it just basically means the belief for the carnivore is basically kind of similar, like primitive. They believe that back in the day when we were cave people, they don't really believe that our bodies were really made for the gathering as much. They believe that our bodies were made to hunt. So we hunted animals, and we used whole animals for fuel. So right now we eat certain parts of it. We eat a lot of chicken breasts and drumsticks and bacon, and there's certain parts of the animals that we are accustomed to eating. But there are other parts that we don't. We don't really see livers and...
True, my family eats livers.
I mean, yeah, and there's certain cultures it's
pig
much
feet,
more popular.
Cow tongue.
Right.
chicken feet.
And we don't even get into why
chitlins, pig intestines.
Why those foods? Why we ate the whole cow, right? That's all we had, so we ate the whole thing, and that's kind of the idea, right? Is that back in the day, all we had was animals and whatever knives and tools that we created. So we ate every single part of the animal. So that diet believes that not only do you eat the meat, but you also eat the other parts and all different organs in the animals that have different types of nutrients that we are not currently getting in our diet. So that's the one I'm very interested. I can't say I will ever. No. I can't say that. I can't say that I will personally ever try the carnivore diet, but I'm interested in it. So I definitely want to do some more research on like what can you eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner type questions. But it is very interesting to me. So if that sounds like more your cup of tea, then definitely research.
I can eat meat all day. Yes.
Yeah.
So for that, again, talking about the intentionality of your diet. If you are going to be a carnivore, if you are going to eat the diet of the primitive human beings who are out and about, who are running, who are hunting, who are climbing trees and are being extremely active to get this food, you need to have that same intention. If you're a person who really doesn't like working out at all, you don't like running, you don't like dancing, you don't like jump roping, you don't like whatever form of exercise you do, and you're eating all this meat, that's probably going to have a negative effect on you, okay? So I'm not saying that carnivore diet is a bad diet. I'm saying if you're going to be a carnivore, you need to live the lifestyle of a carnivore.
Right. It is going to be higher in protein, and you need to make sure you're actually, using that protein. Use it or lose it.
Exactly. Use it or gain it.
Yeah, I guess use it or store it on your body.
Exactly. So let's take a shift. Those were types of diets, types of lifestyles. It is important to maybe try a few different things just so your body can keep changing up a little bit. But now we're going to shift over and talk about when you eat.
Yep.
Queen, go ahead, do your thing.
So I won't say it's equally important, but it is also important when you eat. So the standard kind of way we're taught is that you eat breakfast when you wake up, you eat lunch midday, and you eat dinner at the end of the day. So you eat 3 meals throughout the day. Like that's kind of the normal thing, at least in America. So that's one way to do it. However, there are other options.
Tons of other options. So you think anyone's gonna like this video?
Yes.
You think they might subscribe?
I do.
You do?
Actually, I do.
Well, she believes in you, so...
They are. Right there.
Oh, they're going to do it? You're going to subscribe? Go ahead. Click the button. Subscribe. Like, tell your friends, tell your mama, tell your grandma, tell everyone who isn't even here yet. Just tell them. Appreciate it.